Okay, hello ladies and gentlemen. I just want to show you how to use some of the features in Excel that you'll need for your survey assignment. This video may not be pretty. I'm going to sort of work through a whole bunch of different features in the video, and if you have any questions, please ask. And also, if you find a better way to do something that I show you how to do here, please ask that as well. Okay, so on the left here I have just a random data set that I just made up. So the data probably won't show any real trends because I just kind of made it up on the fly. And over on the right here I have a list of questions that I would ask given this data. So first of all, we look at it, we see that for each individual respondent, we know their gender, we know their age. This question says, how do you feel about dogs? And this question says, how do you feel about cats? So some real deep stuff here. So let's look at the questions that we're going to ask, and we can just sort of address them one at a time. So first, the question says, what is our breakdown of males versus females? So basically, all we're looking at here is we want to know what percent of our survey was males, what percent of it was females. So something that you might think that you can do, maybe you think you can just highlight this, and let's just go ahead and create a pie graph and see what happens. Okay, that didn't really work at all. You can see the title is just rubbish, and then we got nothing here. So really what we need, I'm just deleting this, really what we need here is to actually determine how many males we have and how many females we have. So what you're going to have to do whenever you're doing these is sort of create little tables within your bigger table. So I usually leave just a couple of cells between so that I have some space, and then I'm just going to do this. Males, females. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to count the number of males I have, and I'm going to count the number of females that I have. Now, one way I could do this, I could just come over here, I can highlight them all. And then at the bottom of my screen, which you can't see unfortunately, I'll try and get it in here for you. There we go. So at the bottom of my screen right here, you can see that it says count 10. So that means that there are 10. Now this is nice and easy because of the order that I have the values arranged. However, if the values weren't arranged in this way, it wouldn't be so easy. So for example, I can highlight all my data, and this is an important command to know as well. I'm going to maximize this. So I've highlighted all my data, follow my mouse over to the right, sort and filter. Okay. So what I can do is I can choose custom sort, and then I can choose which variable I wanted to sort by. So let's say, for example, I wanted to sort it by age. I click on age, and it's just picking up these top labels here. And because I've highlighted everything, everything will carry with it. What that means is that if this 15-year-old male loves dogs and likes cats, when I sort it, that 15-year-old male will still love dogs and like cats. So I go ahead and do that, and you can see that now my males and females are kind of mixed up because everything's just sorted by age. So all of a sudden, figuring out how many males there are is a little more of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And of course the number is still 10. Now imagine that you have a spreadsheet with 200 entries and they're all mixed up, and maybe instead of males and females you're looking at another variable where there is just a ton of different possibilities. So instead we are going to use the COUNTIF command. So to do that, we type in the cell right here. This is going to be how many males there are. So equals COUNTIF bracket, and you can see here it's saying range comma criteria. So basically what this is going to do, it's going to count an entry if it's in this range. So I've selected the range, comma, and the criteria, because we're dealing with words here, you put it in quotes, and the criteria is count it if it's a male. And hopefully the answer that comes out when I hit enter is 10, because we know that there are 10 males. And there it is. And now we can do the same thing here, equals COUNTIF, select the range, and notice the range goes from A2 to A21. Column A starts at 2, goes down to 21. And the criteria this time is going to be female. Okay, so it looks to me like we've got an even split. And if you want to display that graphically, you come up to the top. So notice I've highlighted males, females, and 10 and 10. And I click pie graph, and there you go. Obviously, I can change my title to something a little more suitable, but we can see there's an even split of males and females. So let me just show you. If I didn't highlight males and females and made the pie graph 1 and 2, so not as useful, right? So it's good to highlight those titles. Okay, so we know that there is an even split of males and females. So let's go back to our questions and see what else we're interested in. So we've got this one done. What is the age breakdown like in the group? So first I look, I see, okay, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so I have 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, and 17-year-olds. So let's say 15, 16, and 17, and this is going to be age. Okay, and I might want to separate this so I can highlight it and I can just move it around. And now again, I'm going to use the COUNTIF command. So COUNTIF, highlight the range, comma, 15. Okay, so there are 7 15-year-olds. Now, imagine that this goes 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, all the way up to whatever. You probably don't want to do this every single time. So there is a quicker way. And here's the quicker way. Equals COUNTIF. Again, I'm going to highlight this range, comma, but this time what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the criteria from here. So I click on that cell, I close the brackets, I hit enter. And again, 7 15-year-olds. So you can see now, when I click on this 7, and if I click my formula there, what it does is it shows me this is the range in blue, and this is the value that I'm matching. Now what I can do, and this is the best part, is I can take this and I can drag it over. And what that's going to do is it's going to copy this formula to the next cells. What you're going to notice, it says 0 and 0, but of course it isn't 0 and 0. So to figure out what's going on, we click on here, click on this, and there we can see what happened. Because we shifted over one cell over here where my mouse is, it shifted over our range one cell as well. And this is one of the things of Excel that you might find annoying, but once you figure out what it's doing, it's a very, very simple thing to fix. So let's go back to our original formula here. So COUNTIF B2 to B21 is this value that is right here. Okay. So again, we come back over to this one. We can see, oh, pardon me. We come over here, click it. We can see it's picking up this value, but it's shifted over here, and we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a $sign. Now what a $sign does is it locks something into place. So for all three of these, 15, 16, and 17, we want to use column B. So we put a $sign in front of each B. And what that does is it actually will lock it in place. Now if we also wanted to make sure that it was going to lock in 2 to 21, we would put a $sign there and a $sign there. And what that does now is that is locked in place. So as I click and drag that formula, those don't change. I don't need to lock in the 2 and 21 in this case because in the other formulas that I have, they don't move down. If they were shifting all over the place, then I would have to do that. So now what I'm going to do, I've locked in column B. I'm going to click and drag it over, and hopefully it works out. And a nice way to check if it works out is to add up these numbers and add up these numbers, and we know they should be the same. Quick way to add them up. Let's add up the total here. So this is going to be total, and this equals the sum of these two numbers, which is 20. Let's take a look over here. We're going to add up these, and hopefully it equals 20 as well. So equals the sum 20. Great. So that means everything probably worked out. And now we can go ahead, highlight these, and insert a pie graph. And you can see here that it doesn't have my titles this time. Why doesn't it have my titles? I'm not entirely sure. But you can also see that this shows an even split where we don't actually have an even split. Okay, and the reason why it does that is because that was actually graphing 15, 16, and 17 because it saw them as numbers, and as soon as we say pie graph, it says, all right, those are numbers, I'm going to go ahead and graph those. But of course, we wanted to graph these numbers. So instead, I'm going to highlight these numbers here. I'm going to insert a pie graph. And now I want my legend to be a little more useful. So right now it says 1, 2, 3, but I want it to say 15, 16, and 17. And here's the easy way. You right click on the legend that's there, and you click select data. And right here you can see it says horizontal and then in brackets category access labels. Basically it's saying what are your categories? So I click edit, I highlight this, So now my axis labels will be 15, 16, and 17, and indeed, in real time, you can look over here and see indeed that that's working out just fine. So here we have it, our breakdown of 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, and 17-year-olds, and it's very easy to see that we have more 16-year-olds than anything else. And you can then play around with this if you like and see what other things you can do. You can change the colors, you can make it 3D. If you click this type up here, it'll show the actual percent breakdown, which is nice. So there's lots of things that you can do in there. So please explore and play around, because I'd like you to see the different things that Excel can do for you, because eventually you're going to be making your own reports based on your data. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that pie graph because we don't need it there. But you could quite easily click it, copy it, and in Microsoft Word, you can paste it in. And just like that, you've got a chart. And the nice thing about new Microsoft products is that you can actually, within Word, change your titles and things like that. And I guess it doesn't change it in Excel. Okay, so that is basics of making pie graphs. I'm going to stop the video there because it's already about 10 minutes long. And then what we're going to look at is the questions about dogs and cats. So far we've just broken down our data in terms of age and gender, and now we're going to really get into it and see how people feel about dogs and cats.